Hello, everyone. This is Benita, a member of the Guindy Times, which is the official campus magazine of CEG, Tech and SAP. I'm very glad to introduce today's interviewee, Ms. Akshara Vishwanathan. She is a CEG alumnus from the Electronics and Communication batch of 2019. And also during her time here in college, she was the head of the interviews team of the Guindy Times. I'm very glad to have you here, Akka. And before we start with the interview questions, can you please give us a brief introduction about yourself?
So I'm really happy to be back and get associated with Guindy Times again. I am Akshara Vishwanathan, as you said, and I am doing my PhD right now in astronomy. And I'm right now in Netherlands pursuing my PhD. I just started like a few months before. And I did my master's back in UK in the University of Glasgow. And that's all about me for now.
Okay, so that's nice. So after founding the Astro Club, you also went on to pursue a higher studies in the field of astrophysics. So your first question is, what motivated you to start the Astro Club? And when you started the club, what was your vision for this club?
Yeah, that's a really nice question. So I initially wasn't planning on starting some club or something like that. So I was interested in astronomy and astrophysics from the beginning, and I wanted to pursue that after my bachelor's either way. So I was going to do a master's in astronomy, and this path was like figured out before. So I was doing some internships regarding that. I did an internship during my second year summer holidays, and then in my third year summer holidays. So during that time, through a common friend, I got in touch with one of the alumni from our college. Her name is Indu Varadarajan, and she's a pass out, I think, in 2012, if I'm not wrong. So she just completed her PhD in planetary sciences. So when she was there in the university, when she was studying, she founded this club, Astro Club, which ran for just 1 year, and then there wasn't enough juniors, or there wasn't people who were interested to take the club forward. So I just got in touch with her, and she helped me in which internship to choose, which project and stuff like that. And she also told me about Astro Club, and I was like very keen that there was a club for science in an engineering institute. So I was like, wow, that it's great that you found out, and I felt really bad that it stopped there. So then it was me and my previous batch senior, whose name is Hari Prasad. We were really good friends. So we both decided, let's try and revive the club. So he started the initiative, and then it was a huge process, and we had to convince that why we need a science club here, and like, will there be enough students interested and stuff. So I was pretty sure there will be students interested, because astronomy is fascinating for everyone. So I thought, okay, let's try to revive, and I tried to get the permission and everything, and I had a pretty good idea of what I can do, because the club already existed, and Indu Akka did few activities when she was handling the club. So I had some vision, and because of my internships, I had pretty good contacts in the field. So I was able to, I can arrange for seminars, I can arrange for workshops and stuff. So I thought maybe I'm the right person to start this, and I'm really happy that it's continuing.
So that's an inspiring story that you were able to revive back the club. So on that note, what was the process like? So how do you go about starting a club? Like you said, Miss Indu already started the club, but it didn't go on for long. Can you elaborate a bit on how you were able to revive the club back, and how were you able to gather members this time, more members this time?
Yeah, so it took me the first entire semester of my final year to actually get permission for the club. So I would say, if you're planning on starting the club, try and figure it out in the beginning of odd sem, because people are pretty much free in the odd sem, and it's easy to do more activities and get more members. But then I wasn't able to do that because of my internships. So I got the permission on like December 15ish. So at the end of the odd sem is when I got the permission. So it's pretty straightforward. You just need a brochure, and you just have to have an idea of what you're going to do with the club, and like what is your target audience or target members basically, and you just have to approach the student advisor, and you just have to convince them on like why the club is necessary, or like what good the club would do to the students and everything. Since it's a technical club, it's not something like an arts, or it's not like a cultural club, so it was pretty easy to convince because it is related to studies. So the only hard part was to convince that it's almost like a science club, and like how would you get members for it. So that was the only difficult part, but then everything was sorted. When he is convinced, then he signs your letter and then it goes to the dean. So that's pretty straightforward. You just need a proper idea, maybe a good brochure for what you want to do with the club and what kind of contacts you have and everything. So yeah, that was done. And I did not, the only difficult part for me was marketing, because I did not have so many people in like, the office bearers and stuff. And in my year, we were a really small team. We were like 5 to 6 people, I guess. And the active people was just me and another guy. So we used to like run for permissions and like letters and everything. So the marketing was the only issue when I did it. So we did have members. We had like around 50, I think. I would say there were a lot of members because I circulated a Google form, and you know how people fill Google forms. So there were a lot of people, but sincerely there were, I think, 20 to 30 members in my year, which was a pretty good number for what I expected, because second semester was like, the final semester was like pretty hard. I had my project, and then there's this, and then there's a few other things. There was GT. So I was like, this is a pretty good number. And my only motto was to look for members who are really interested, because I know there are a lot of clubs in CEG and people just randomly join in clubs and they're not active. And, it's pretty much like you don't even know these members existed. So I really wanted people who were interested in astronomy, who were fascinated by the sky and, things like that. So my first approach was to organize a workshop, because if it's a technical workshop, only people who are interested are going to pay and come forward. So that was a huge success. We had around like 75, 80 entries for a new club. That's like really good. So I organized a workshop, and it's very important to take that as a first step after the open call, obviously. But that's very important because it gives funding for the club, and we organized it with Space India. So they were really good as well. So we were able to negotiate and get some funding based on that. And it also helps you find out who are really interested, and it also helps you to find out who I can give the responsibility of the club to next. So that was a major event that I would say I did in my year, and I was able to figure out few juniors and like gray tags and purple tags and orange tag as well. Yeah, there were a few people, but that was very helpful. And we also offered an internship for people who performed really good in the workshop, so that was very helpful. And yeah, if it's internship, it's easy to attract students. So they really want to do some hands-on or practical experiences in summer. So that was very helpful. And my major motto for the club was to show a way for students who wanted to pursue this seriously, not just astronomy, but like aerospace or anything related to that field, like rocket sciences or space systems and everything. So I wanted to show them a path how to go, because I was guided by a few people, and the initial push, I wasn't guided, so I did not have the proper guidance, and then I applied for internships, and then I figured my way out. So I wanted my juniors to have this, a bit more straightforward. So it's like I gave a lot of information regarding that, and how to get into internships based on this. What internships are available, basically. That is, I think our college is like, it's one of the top colleges in India, so it's easy to find internship with a profile like saying, oh, I'm from Anna University, I'm from CG. So it's just the lack of information that's the problem there. So I thought that would be helpful. So when I handed over the club to juniors, I gave like all the information whatever is necessary. So even if someone contacts me, I would be like, just contact Astro Club office bearers. They know everything. So it's like, so that's a good thing. That was one of the major motto, to identify people who were really interested in the field and to show them the right path.
So having put in so much effort into bringing back the club, what do you think of the Astro Club now? I'm sure over the years so far it has grown in numbers, and it must surely be different from what it was initially. So what do you think of the growth of the club so far? And is there any advice or message that you would like to convey to the club members?
Yeah, sure. The growth, it has been, I think, 2 academic years so far since I left the club to the juniors. It has been doing really good. They did a workshop last year, I guess, and I heard it went really good, and the social media has been really active. And right now, there's not much you can do. You cannot go outside and show them the stars, but I'm glad they're doing a lot of webinars, and that's a really great thing. So this set of juniors is my last point of contact. So I don't think I will know the next set of office bearers. So I just want to convey to them that if they need any contacts or anything about like an activity to do, I'm like always there. I'm always available for that. And I think the club has grown in a really good way. Just because of the pandemic, there's a lot of things that they're not able to do, but I'm really happy they're doing these things. They're able to arrange webinars. It's really hard to pull students for seminars and webinars. So I'm glad they're doing that. That's a great thing. So yeah, just one advice. It would be good if they could increase the marketing a bit more and like advertise a bit more, because that's the only thing that I wasn't able to do because of lack of time. So I think that would be really good to focus something on the marketing side.
So the next question is a little bit about yourself. As in, you said you were already sure on pursuing astrophysics after your BE. So what sparked that interest in you?
I think it's something that everybody says. It's like, oh yeah, I was studying in 6th standard, I studied physics, there was gravity, and then the sky fascinated me and everything. So it's the same story. I really loved. So I think that was when science was actually divided into physics, chemistry, and biology. And I never cared about chemistry and biology. I really loved physics. And there was an entire chapter about gravity and like all this escape velocity and stuff like that. So that was really fascinating. And I really loved the sky, and the Chennai sky is beautiful. So I really love that. It's always fascinating to just look at the moon and the stars and the constellations. It's just that I took it a bit more seriously, because most of them have this fascination and then over time it just goes off. I think it never went off for me. This spark was always there. And when I finished my 12th grade, I thoroughly enjoyed physics, and there was this last 2 chapters about semiconductors and stuff and communication, and I loved it. So I was like, okay, I love those 2 chapters, so I have to take EC now. So I took EC, and my motto was to go into astronomical instrumentation, not into pure science. So that was the only thing that changed. I wanted to do instrumentation, but as I did internships and stuff, I got a bit more inclined to science, and now I moved a bit more to science and data analytics and stuff like that. So that's the only change, but the field that I wanted to do, it has always been constant. It has always fascinated me, and I think if you have the dream, just go with it. Just try something. There's no harm in like trying and failing, but it's fine. Just try.
So it's good that you stuck with your passion till the end. So with that, one final question before we wind up. How you said you did your BE in AC and then your higher studies in astrophysics. So how was the transition like from engineering to astrophysics? Was it tough or was it easy? And what advice would you give to juniors who also like to, pursue a similar path, like shift from engineering to astrophysics, if that's your field of interest?
It is very difficult, not just from engineering to astrophysics. If you're taking a shift after your UG, it's pretty difficult, because it had been like 4 years since I actually studied pure physics when I got into masters. So it was really difficult. Few of the things, like I did not have the basic background in like the physics that I was studying, so you have to put a bit more of effort. it's in the first place, it's very difficult to get into a uni. It's like mostly the question would be like, oh, you're from engineering, why do you want to do science? So it's like most of them who are doing engineering, I think, are mostly because they didn't know what to do, or it's just because, you know, my parents asked me to take it. So it's fine if you even not like, but there's like this 4 years where you can figure out what you like. So if you're going to take a transition, it's going to be difficult. So you have to gather the background. So being in CEG, it's easy because you can do a lot of projects there. You can just, there is a physics department that we have in the uni. You can just approach the professors there and ask, like, can I do some project, or can I just do work with you on something? So it might not be like, you know, going to a telescope and working there. That's not the straight thing. It would be a difficult path. You might not directly work in astronomy, but you will definitely get a really good experience, and you'll be able to figure out what to do next. For example, my first internship was not very great. I did my first summer internship, which was an IASC fellowship. It was a great internship by name, but my experience was not that great. But it helped me get more internships. Like I got an internship in Canada, and then I was able to get into UK university. So even if you get some kind of experience out of it, which is not directly your interest, it's still fine. You're just figuring out. So it will be difficult, but I think just hard work and like contact the seniors, keep your profile active in LinkedIn, and like it's easy to find people who are transitioning from fields from engineering on LinkedIn.
So, okay, thanks for your advice. So with that, we've come to the end of the interview. On behalf of the Guindy Times, I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. And once again, thank you for taking your time and joining us in this series. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy that GT's interviews team is doing great. It's really